We're going to be exploring how to put together the skeleton for our lamp in this video. We're going to be using a new tool which I don't believe that we have used yet, which are joints or bones. And to start with, I'm going to show you where to navigate. So for doing this kind of rigging setup, we need to change the drop down from modeling to rigging. I believe it's also in animation, but we'll put it into rigging for now. The menu that we're going to be working out of is the skeleton menu, so I'm actually going to just click on the bar. You can click on the bar here to drag the menu out. It just means that I can kind of click buttons quicker. So we're going to be using the create joints button first. The problem that we're going to turn into though, which I'll show you first. If I go into my side view, I want to snap these joints to the grid points. So we have nicely modeled our lamp to mostly fit onto the grid points of the viewport. I want to create a base joint here, and then that will be connected to our kind of frame, and then to our arm, and then to the next arm, and then the kind of top frame, and then the lamp head. The problem with snapping to grid, currently what's going to happen, if I click on create joints, I'm going to put into wireframe as well just so I can see. If I hold X, that works perfectly fine, and I can go into my other viewport. Now something else that we need to put on here is a different shading type. So we need to go into the shading mode of the viewport and put on X-ray joints. Now I can see the joints through the mesh, so that's put it in the right place for me. If I continue going on, so if I make the next one and hold X and snap again, so click it here, you see now the problem is that the joint has now rotated itself to look at the next one. And I'll show you in a minute. I'll show you now just what the problem is before going any further, because I'm going to have to delete this and restart it. I do it slightly different. I don't do it as one continuous kind of skeleton. I kind of make one joint and then duplicate it and move it into place where I need it. The problem right now is, say that this joint here is being used for moving the base, so the whole lamp is going to move with this here. The issue that I'm going to have is if I start rotating, it's like I can't rotate it at a 90-degree angle across this way, because the joint is looking at the next one. It's giving me this off kind of angle, and it's going to be a real issue trying to make the lamp turn without it coming off the ground or like just looking weird. It's going to be really hard to do that. So I'm going to do it a different way. I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm going to select create joints again, but I'm only going to create one in the middle. So I've created one. Now what I'm going to do is click on Control D to duplicate it. I'm going to hold X and I'm going to move it into the next position, and then I'm going to do it again. So hold X to duplicate it first and then hold X, snap it to this point. So now you can see that we're getting the different pieces lined up properly, and you can see that it keeps the angle as well, so that's perfect. That's what I wanted to do. We're going to continue now, so I need to move up here. Control D. This one is going to be slightly different. So because it's not in a grid point at the moment, I'm going to use Control V, and I'm going to use these single arrows to snap it into place this time. And then Control D once more. I'm going to move it over here. Again, snap it to the grid points, Control D, and then snap it here. And then the last one, what I might do is separate the light bulb just in case you guys want to have a separate light bulb as well. So I might just do that on the off chance that you need it like that. So duplicate again once, Control D, hold V and just snap it into place. I'm going to put it kind of like here, kind of where the base of the light bulb would be, where it kind of screws into the socket. Another one that I need, let's say, yeah, I need one more. So one for the button if you want to have your button work. I'll go into the side view again, Control D. I can use X this time to move it and then move it into place. Okay, so we have our joints all in position. We need to merge them together. We also need to name them. So I'm going to call this one B underscore base. So we could reuse the names that we use for the actual meshes, because basically everything is going to be separated like that anyway, so that's going to be quite nice. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to reuse the names for all the pieces. So if I copy and then I can paste. Now one thing that we are going to do is I'm going to put B underscore at the beginning. Basically the B underscore gives everyone an understanding that that is a bone or a joint. It's not a mesh. It's just a bit clearer to know the difference between this and this. Obviously the icon is different, but you can also go by the B underscore at the beginning. Okay, so lamp mount, copy, and I believe this is the lamp mount. Okay, and again I need to B underscore. I need to remember to do that first. Copy, B underscore, Control V, lower arm, B underscore, paste. Okay, and the upper head mount, there we go, and B underscore, paste that in. Lamp head, copy, and then B underscore V. This one is the light bulb. We don't have it separated yet, so I'm just gonna put that in myself. Okay, and then this one is the lamp button. B underscore lamp button. So we have all of those named. Now what I need to do is start parenting them together. Now the way the parenting works, if you remember what we did in a previous tutorial, you have to select the child first. So you need to go to the very end of the hierarchy, which is going to be our light bulb. We need to go to the light bulb first, then select the parent, hit P to join them together. Now you can see that they're connected, and then do the same for each of these. So again, select the child, connect them together, select the child, hit P, select the child, click the parent, hit P, and continue the whole way down like that there. And then that is our hierarchy set up. So we can now move this the way we want. Because I did them all individually, you can see that I can now rotate it nicely horizontally without having to kind of guess and figure out where it's meant to be, which is fantastic. One thing I do want to modify about the rotation of these joints, this one here, I do want it to follow the direction of the next joint, and I want this one to do the same. So we can fix that easily. So I can just select the joint, I can go to orient joint, I'm going to hit this options box just to make sure everything is right. I'm going to make sure that is unticked. I also want to untick this. I do not want this to apply it to everything underneath. So orient children of selected joints, that would apply it to everything. So it would apply it to all of these as well, which I don't want. So I'm going to turn that off, hit apply, and then you can see that it will rotate to the next one. And then I want to do the same for this one, hit apply, and then it will rotate accordingly as well. And then we still have the rotation saved for these ones here. So I can close that down now. And that is that all ready to go. Last thing then, I'm going to pull out the light bulb out of the top of the mesh, just because again I may want to animate that separately. So I'm going to double click on the face. I'm going to hold shift and right click, and I'm going to click on extract faces. Oops. Extract faces. Okay, now you can see that the light bulb is separate. Now the problem is that the pivot is all the way over here, so I'm going to center that in position again. If I hit this button here, this is center pivot, and it will center it to the pivot place. What I'm going to just do is put the pivot where I've put the joint, just in case anything goes wrong. So I'm going to hold D on the keyboard, hold V as well, and then snap it to the same place as where the joint is, just to finish that off. And then we've got our headlamp as well. Same thing, I'm going to change where the pivot is, because again it's moved as well. So I'm going to center the pivot first, and I'm gonna, it doesn't really matter where I position this one so much. I will position it kind of like here. It doesn't, so that's fine there as well. I'll do. So I do have these again. I do need to rename them, and I'll need to make sure that I delete the history and everything as well off of them. Lamp head. So these have been moved into a group, so I'm going to have to get rid of the group, and I want this one to go onto, there we go. So this one, let's just open the hierarchy up again. So lamp head, I can copy this, and I need to change that name, and then this is my light bulb, copy and paste. So I have fixed up my hierarchy. You can change things in the hierarchy. If you click the middle mouse button, you can change which one it is affected by quite easily, and it'll change it in the list. So that is everything cleaned up for that. And just hit the delete history again, just to make sure that it's all removed. And the last part of this video is to apply everything to a hierarchy to the joints. So I need to select my light bulb. I'm going to click on Q on the keyboard just to get rid of this pivot point, because it's going to be in the way a lot of the time. So hitting my light bulb, hitting the joint here, and I'm going to hit P to parent it. And I'm going to do the same here. So the head of the lamp, hit the parent there, and this part is going to be parented to this, and then the upper arm is going to be parented to this part here, parent. Then same thing to this one. This one is going to be parented to the mount. The button is going to be parented to this one, and the base is going to be parented to this. So previously we had it all parented, the meshes parented to each other, but now what we have is all the mesh pieces parented to the skeleton. So I have that set up there as well. So that is working very nicely. Yep, so that is, sorry, that one rotates like that there. and this one is my lamp, so I can take my light bulb out, or sorry, it's my light bulb, so I can take it out or rotate it or whatever I want to do with it now. That's ready to go. So that is my lamp all set up, ready to kind of go to the next step. The last step, which you may want to do, you'll get better marks if you do set it up this way. We're going to have a look at using IK and some controllers just to make it a little bit easier to select parts of the mesh and animate them. So we'll have a look at that in the next video.